There are specific indicators that I know that people are gaining benefit from the J juice because of how they're doing J juice and the food supply. And what I'm seeing is, of course, there is a spectrum of different levels of evolution that you guys are holding. And some of you are very, very skinny and you're afraid to gain some fat. And so you're more than willing to gain more muscle than fat. And so I also see a kind of a block in how you are taking my information. And so I don't know how much actual healing is going on when you don't realize that maybe you could take a break on the J juice and gain some fat. Okay, because fat, needs to be balanced correctly. All right, it needs to be balanced with the fat and the muscle and the food supply and the water. And so I've really tried to drop some clues to a lot of my Agility Juice people who are in labor intensive industries, who have been doing Agility Juice for a while, been doing a lot of it. Yes, you're eating proteins, but you also need the fat. Okay, we're not trying to be bodybuilders here. All right, I'm not trying. If I down the road, maybe I might do a little bit of strengthening just to kind of get definition, but I get a lot of evolution from the fat on my body, and it's a healing process. It actually is the substance, it is the insulation along with the muscle that will help me evolve to the new levels, the new variants in our society. And so there must be a balance of fat and muscle. And so those that are like weightlifters that are so cut and they look like they go to the gym all the time and there's hardly any fat on their body, they're going to have a shortened lifespan. And so they're probably doing a lot of hormone manipulation, probably eating tons of protein, but not too many carbs, not too many sugars. They're probably in the gym like all the time, manipulating their muscles to gain more of the volume. And so, we know that those people are going to have a very hard time evolving because the fat has the prostaglandins. The prostaglandins are the healing properties that allow your body to evolve and develop and be able to handle so much of the transducers of energy in our environment. And so so I can tell when I suggest that you eat more fat. Yeah, that's fine, eat protein, but lay off the J juice a little bit, and then it's like a total block. Like, you don't want to hear lay off the J juice. You want to do J juice before you eat and after you eat. And I'm telling you, maybe lay off the J juice, give a week off, do your purging on the weekends, just eat food during the week, eat your milk, your meat, your fat, whatever. I don't care what it is, and allow your body to regenerate. But when you're like not hearing me and you're just saying like, oh yeah, I have this many kilograms of this, but I eat J juice before my meal and after my meal, and it's every day, and you don't realize that I'm saying, okay, baby, lay off the J juice. That's fine, eat your protein, you're supposed to. Eat your fat, have some fat. And I say, okay, just lay off the J juice for give it a week or two. Lay it off. Just do your purging on the weekends, or let 2 weeks go by and let your body build up not only fat, but also muscle, or not only muscle, but also fat. But when you're doing J juice like every single day before and after meals, and you've been on the J juice for a while, I'm thinking you're probably burning a lot of fat off. And if you're just focused on the muscle and not the fat, then I see you're trying to be a bodybuilder type. And so there's got to be that balance between fat, muscle, and meat and all that stuff. And then the healing process. And then you're able to actually not have a block. Like Georgiou, sometimes I feel like we are always conflicting with each other in some way, because I say, okay, you're saying good, bad, and you're like, I disagree, and I'm like, okay, where's the evolution of where you can understand where I'm coming from, and it's not always a fight with you. Like, I see, like every time I say, okay, try not to promote good or bad, try to be a bit more egalitarian when it comes to the food supply. understand that not everybody is going to think that this is good or bad. So just say, hey, in my opinion, or this, or wait, change the way in which you speak. But it's like, it's a block. Like, you don't want to hear what I have to say. And then when I say, okay, maybe lay off the JJs a little bit and let some fat go on your body, you're just like, no, 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 no. It's like, I feel like there's a block. And so I know when there's a block where you can't hear what I'm saying, that there's probably a little bit of lack of evolution in that area, because there's still a resistance. Like, I feel a resistance on your end, George. And it's always been that way. And it's okay. I mean, it is what it is. But I recognize the resistance, which means that you're probably doing a lot more J juice, probably less sugar, less fats, less carbs. You're probably doing very organic stuff, or what you think is organic. And you're probably very discriminatory in your food intake, of which then that's why you're focusing on the muscles, not the fat, and why we resist. So, yeah, and the weight can be with muscle or it can be with fat. I mean, you put on a stone, you don't know what that stone is attributed to. Can you actually see, do you actually do like fat measurements? Because you can measure fat. I remember back in PE, they would measure, I think I had like 25% fat back when I was in PE. And now, I don't know what the average is supposed to be, but at this point, it's based upon a dying body, so it's really hard to tell what is supposed to be. But you also look at the ability to just take in new information and see where someone's coming from without having to disagree with me or resist. And so I can tell when someone is resisting what I'm saying is that they're still kind of stuck in their world of discrimination, of which I catch in how you say things and how you word things. And when I have to go and kind of like clarify what you're saying so people don't think that I take on the discrimination like you do, it means that the evolution is still yet to be there, because the focus is on muscle, the focus is on discrimination, the focus is on all these different things that, Jilly Juice is kind of saying, okay, we're not playing the discrimination game. We have to understand the balance between fat and muscle and sugar and salt and all that stuff. So, okay, that's great, John. You're 5% before, now you're 15%. Okay. And so all I'm trying to do is just give you an idea, Georgiou, Simio, is that maybe you take a break off the Jilly Juice. You don't have a pint before you eat and a pint after you eat. Maybe just do like, a quart on the weekends, get your waterfalls on the weekends and gain some freaking fat, not focus on the muscle, and get some evolution going on in your thought process so it comes out in your writing, in your writing. Like I see a little bit of evolution, but I still also feel resistance. And I get it. It is a process, but I want to let you know I recognize that. But also, too, your situation needs to be spoken to for other people as well who are very focused on the discrimination diets and all the organic versus the GMO and the good meat versus the bad meat, like there is anything good or bad. No, it's all preference. I love gristle. I love fat on the meat. I purposely eat the fat on the meat. I purposely eat the gristle on the meat. I don't always want it like a pure beef, because that to me, unless it's cooked completely right, it's dry to me. So I like the fat to kind of give it that extra flavor and all that stuff. So some people have a preference towards the gristle and the fat. And so, I just want to see an evolution, and I'm prodding evolution out of you guys because I know your intentions to be, to get to a different point where you're not playing the discrimination game and you're allowing the intelligence, the third eye, determine what needs to go and what needs to stay. And then there's a balance of exercise, which, I don't do a lot except get on my computer and just innovate at this point. So, anyway, so I just want to, and I get it, Georgia, but I still feel a resistance. I do. I feel like there is some kind of blockage between our communication. And it could be that the fact that there is things on your end that I see how you're writing. And so I am saying, okay, let's not put a judgment call. Let's not play the discrimination, GMO versus organic or good versus bad. And I'm asking you to look and consider maybe not doing a pint before you eat, not doing a pint before after you eat. That's great. You're gaining muscle, but let's also get to the next level of gaining fat, which might be too soon for you because you just started eating meat. Maybe you hadn't before. So I don't know all your whole situation. And so, I just want you to be open to hearing, also other, ways of doing stuff without it becoming a back and forth. But that's always kind of been our situation anyway. So it's just more of the same. But no big deal. I just wanted to make sure I pointed out. But yeah, I want you guys to see the balance between all of it. And honestly, I love a good ribeye steak. Soft fat through it is the best bit. Yeah, absolutely. And then what else did you say, George? Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I never did. I never said to do before and after. I never said that. I said some people have done before and after, and that depends on in the beginning. You've been doing this for a while, so I think you need to keep up on my videos, George. But no, I mean, I said that if you're just starting, and some people are just starting, and a pint is a lot, and I've told John this. Um, right, I get it, Georgia, Georgiou. I don't even know how to pronounce that. But what I said was is that if someone like you and John, because you guys have been doing this for a while, you've been on my Facebook for a while, you've been doing this for a while. You probably primed your body already to be able to handle the nutrition and the food supply. So you could actually take a break from drinking the J juice before and after meals, and you could probably just wait and do it on the weekend and just eat all kinds of food during the week and eliminate, okay? And then allow fat get on your body, allow some muscle if you're doing a labor intensive work, which you probably are because that's why you're seeing muscle. It's not just from eating the fat or the protein, but it's also the fact that you are probably out there doing stuff, okay, because you do work. And so for those that are just starting and they have kids or they're very, very obese, yes, do a little bit before you're eating, a little bit after you're eating, so that way the body can energize the food and then also energize your body to heal and seal. And that way when at some point down the road, you don't have to purge as much. But yes, when you are 300 or 400 pounds and you have so much stuff going on, yes, drinking before and after while you're, all that's, yes. And then, and I did it too. I told you I purged a lot in the beginning of J juice and I got to really, really skinny, like super skinny. And so finally I stopped purging and I stopped drinking so much and I started eating. And that's when I started gaining more of the form to my body. I had got my collagen back. I got my body back. I definitely have, mammaries and thighs and butt and all that stuff and a little tiny belly because that's the gift of life right there. And so that is the intelligence. That is the healing process. Those are the prostaglandins. Those are the prostaglandins. No worries, Georgia. So those are the prostaglandins. It's in the fat. Okay. And so, and then down the road, if you don't weigh as much, because those that are very obese need a lot more of the J juice, but they still need, the proteins and the salt and all the other stuff and the carbs and the sugars and all that, but they need a little bit less and more of the J juice so they can finally allow the body to process all the fat out. But if they're very, very skinny and very, very underweight and malnourished and mostly muscle, then they need to do a little bit of the J juice to kind of energize the body, but they need to eat a lot of the sugar and the fats and the proteins and the carbs because they need to get to that point where they are like way behind the 8 ball. They need to gain some weight. And so relative to where you are on that balance of underweight and overweight and all that is relative to how you're going to do J juice, which is the energy, and then the food supply, which is then your covalent bonding, your insulation to handle the atmosphere. Okay. And so I can't tell you exactly what you should be. Your evolution, you're going to hear it. You're going to, and that's what I'm saying, with I know with you working, George, it's hard probably to journal, but sometimes it's good to develop different parts of your communication. So that way, since I can't see you and I can't really talk to you, the only communication I hear is through the way you write. And so maybe evolution needs to come through writing. Okay, maybe that's another way where you can evolve is through your writing to where you are more articulate and you do explain yourself, where it's not a judgment call on, or you're not pushing an indirect agenda that I can see. Because that's why we probably have a little resistance, because I can still see some agendas that you still hold on to that I have let go. And I'm like, okay, this is not the J juice world. Okay. So all food is good, whatever it is. I mean, if it's rotting, I probably won't eat it, but somebody out there might if they're that desperate. Okay. But as far as the food supply out there, if it's FDA approved or if it's, sold through somebody's garden, it's all good. There is no judgment of good and bad. And so that's what I want you to see, is how you can articulate what you're doing without promoting an agenda of, here, do this organic industry or this meat shop or that meat shop. So, but yeah, everyone has preferential cuts of meat. Hey, my husband likes more of the thicker cut. I like the thinner cut. Everybody has a preference, right? Doesn't mean it's right or wrong. It is what it is. I like more fat. You like more of the meat. I like a combination of both. It is what it is. No good or bad. It's just our preference. And so, but fat definitely has prostaglandins. It has the healing stuff. So I want you to focus on the balance of fat and muscle. So you have the healing hormones and you have the strength, and then you get the evolution. All right? All right. Bye. You guys are great. Bye.